Hey folks, happy fall. Welcome to October. We got a lot of things to get to here, but I hope you're all doing well. I'm enjoying what the fall season is. I know I have way too many apples at the house right now, so if you have any good recipes, definitely pass them along. I hope you're enjoying football season as I do too. If you're Patriots fans out there, as a resident member of Bills Mafia, I'll say just bear with it. We have 3 decades of what you guys are experiencing now. So maybe you need a few more years before it really sinks in. But anyway, beside the point, let's get into what we have for you for October. The first thing I'll say, it is Cyber Security Awareness Month. I'm sure you all have that really marked on your calendars as something to celebrate this time of year. But in all seriousness, it is always some good reminders that we should keep an eye on our security and how we handle ourselves on devices related to information and privacy. So just a couple reminders related to that. The first one is just always keep your ID badge safe and secure with you. Naturally, your ID badge gets you into buildings and also is your copier access. It is tied to us as individuals, and so that ID is super important and super critical from a security standpoint. The next thing is to always delete spam and phishing messages without responding to it. We get them all the time. You can't stop it. They're going to happen. Just remember that you can just disregard it. No action should be taken on that. On a technical level, we're not clicking links. We're not doing any action within that email itself. If you have any questions, you always submit a support ticket. We will always guide you if you have a question or aren't sure about how to approach something. So before you take action, remember to submit a ticket for that. A couple nevers for you. Never share personal information about yourself or your students via email with the passwords or social security numbers, etc. Those naturally should not be part of an email chain. Never click links from one of those spam and phishing emails. As legit as they can look these days, use your training and just keep an eye on who actually sent that. Look for that external email banner. Look at the request. If the language seems a little weird, it's probably a little weird. So be careful of any links from those. And then never sign into websites that aren't secure. Right at the top of our address bar here, you got that little gear here that kind of can give you information about the site that you're on. So as you click on it, it'll tell you if it's secure. You can get into the certificate and all the other things that are available. So if you think your website looks a little funny and it's asking you to sign in, just keep an eye on there and see what it's telling you. And then never, if somebody calls you or you get a message saying, hey, you got to pay for something in order to get something, that's not usually the normal protocol that you would follow, right? And so just be careful when anybody's saying, hey, you have to, pay $300 to unlock the computer or to get something back from a service or anything like that. That's not a normal conversation. So just be careful when you're asked to buy gift cards or pay for a service that otherwise you wouldn't. And then never let a student log into your computer. As faculty members, obviously our access is very different than students. Our filtering is very different than students. And the moment a student signs in, they have access to a lot of your files potentially. And so very much so, tread carefully and do not let students sign into your machine. Okay, that's it for our reminders there. We're going to talk through a couple reminders now, more about support and more about our ticket system. And so I think we're all familiar with the tickets and how we can go in and submit issues and ask questions. One of the things I always like to remind folks to point out is that when we are creating a ticket, we can also create a ticket for a colleague as well. So when you click that new ticket button in the top, the system fills in yourself and your location by default, as you might expect. But you can hit Edit Requester here, and you can put in whoever you might like to put a ticket in for, and the system will allow you to pick that colleague, and then it brings them as the requester, so they're automatically involved in the process as we go through. So that can be a great way to help a peer if they're unable to put in a ticket for themselves, or if they're just struggling with something that you want to lend a hand for. Just make a ticket and change the requester at the top. Makes it very super easy to make a ticket. The next reminder for tickets is that if you are a classroom teacher, within our ticket system, we roster your classes into it. And what that can give for you is under that My Classes view, you get a list of the students that are part of your class. And you also get a list of the devices that they are assigned. And it gives you a quick ability to hit that submit ticket just simply by clicking My Classes, clicking in the name of a class, and then clicking Submit Ticket as necessary. So you can put in a ticket either on behalf of the student or for the student device. So that can be a great way to approach getting support as well. And then finally, related to this is if you are assigned a room in SchoolBrains, that information passes along as well. So any inventory that's assigned to the room is also available in this My Classes view under your room, and you can quickly submit a ticket for things like your interactive whiteboard or your projector or document camera things that are assigned to that room. So that can be another quick way to just approach this ticket flow and get things all going. All right. The next piece of information, it's a new thing that we've been working on for a little while, and you might have seen it in your class link, but there's a new icon in your class link called HPS Analytics Dashboard. We know data is very powerful, and sometimes looking at spreadsheets of information is not always the most accessible thing to look at, right? And so what a dashboard can do for us is it presents material and data a little bit more intuitively, and perhaps in just the nature of graphics and having that form in there can make it a little bit easier to understand. And so as a district, we've been working on creating data dashboards. Previously, they were available on admin levels, and now we're starting to see them open up for teaching staff as well. And so right from ClassLink, if you click HPS Analytics, you'll be taken to this site that gives links to a variety of different data dashboards that are there. And the two I want to focus on today are for attendance rate and student assessments. And it'll give you some description on here about what are they doing, how often does it update. And you'll notice that there's links for an admin dashboard or a teacher dashboard. As a classroom teacher, if you click the teacher dashboard, it may ask you for permission. Just say yes. And basically what that does is it preloads the information that's assigned to you through your class roster. And I'll just give a little preview of what you can expect to see here. So if you're a teacher and you click that analytics dashboard, it's going to show simply a nice graph of how your students are doing with attendance. You'll have a bit of a scorecard in terms of a color wheel, just seeing how they're doing related to chronic absenteeism. You'll have some filters that you can do if you have multiple classes assigned to you. You can use those filters on the left-hand side to switch between classes or switch between some demographic info if you just want a quick snapshot to see how things are going. If you are an admin level, you'll have much more information available to you, of course, but we hope at least from a teacher standpoint that this initial dashboard is helpful from an attendance rate standpoint. The other one that's quite a bit more involved is the analytics assessments dashboard. And what this is, and I'll just say out the front, give it a second to load because it is pulling together a lot of information from SchoolBrains to get here. But basically what it is, it's a comprehensive view of assessment data from the last few years for the students that you have, or for the visibility that you have. It combines everything from gradebook grades, if you're a middle school and high school teacher, to MCAS, to iReady, to Access, all in one comprehensive view. You'll see that we have pages for math content and ELA content. And so related to iReady and MCAS, you'll see those scores relevant there. And then you'll notice that on the left it has quick filters where it says start here. And what that's for is for the ability to not just look at all of the bits of information, but perhaps narrow it down to certain criteria. So maybe you only want to see a certain years of results. You can switch the school year to only a single year or only a couple of years if you want. If you want to focus on a certain class or course, you can do that. If you want to focus on some demographic stuff, you can certainly do that as well. The latest MCAS scores aren't quite available in here yet. Those should be coming soon, as soon as the state releases them and we get them loaded into SchoolBrains. Those would be available as well. But the other piece to this that can be super useful is the student portrait. So beyond just the big broad overviews of the math and ELA, the student portrait allows you to focus on a single student. It lists all of their assessment details that we have and can be just a great snapshot way to see how an individual student is doing related to assessments. And as I mentioned, all of this data is coming straight from SchoolBrains. And so you can certainly look at this information in SchoolBrains as well. There's that test results snapshot report that's available both for admins and for teachers. And you'll be able to see it all there. But just play around with these dashboards, see if they're helpful information for you. They will be continued to expand as we tweak and add different results. Certainly, if you have any feedback for it, feel free to reach out to your coaches or curriculum folks or submit a ticket if you have any questions as we continue to develop these and make them more and more useful for us. Alrighty, the next piece is just a couple new features related to resources that we use and love. One of the first ones that I'll talk about a couple really exciting new features for is Screencastify. We've talked about it a while as a resource that's available for staff. It's the only way you can edit videos with district provided tools online. It's a great way to get student feedback through their submit feature. But what I want to talk about today is a new feature available to us in the district related to communication with the Screencastify platform. So if you're in ClassLink and you click Screencastify, it takes you into the My Videos section, which will give you the ability to quickly record something or upload a video or see your library of videos that you have. If you visit an individual video that you have either recorded or uploaded in your library, what you'll have that's new is over on this right-hand side, where we have a couple of buttons that you may not have not seen before, but that are really interesting. The first one that I would say, and I've already done it, so it's grayed out, but the first one is that there's a captions button. So after you record your video, you can click visit it like we are here. You can click enable captions and it will automatically add closed captions to your video. It can take a little while to process, of course, maybe a few minutes depending on how long your video is, but it will automatically add closed captions to it. If you then, after that, there's an AI voiceover button that you can click. And if you click on that, what happens is it generates a voiceover option for the video as well. And then finally, there's an AI assistant button on this page where it can automatically give your video a title and give it a text description as well. So some interesting tools to get going here just to take a video that you already have and give it some extra features. So that's all well and good, but the extra things I want to focus on here come for your viewers. So if you have generated captions and enabled the AI voiceover, what happens is when somebody watches your video, and this is an example of the watch screen, which you can just simply get to by hitting preview when you're looking at a video. What happens for the visitor is that they can click on captions here, and you'll notice that the captions are generated in English, but they have the ability to then come in here and change the caption language. And let's say, just for example, I want to switch it to a different language here. So you'll notice it's going to translate those captions, might take a few seconds. Again, it's AI working in the background to kind of make this happen. So once it's done, it'll be done. And then what we'll see is that these captions are going to change to that language that we specified. The visitor can then go ahead and choose a different language if they want to as well, to have all the different ability to read things in their language as necessary. Right? So that's an awesome, awesome feature where automatic translated captions available to any video that we have in Screencastify. And then the other thing is the button right next to it, AI voiceover. And I haven't played with this 100% yet, but I think the concept of it is super interesting, where we have the ability to turn on a voiceover in a translated language. And so not only will it take those captions that that are generated already, it can actually speak those captions using AI in a different language. So definitely play around with that feature and see if that's a great way to engage your community a little bit better. And it's just simply by looking at the video you might have already recorded and hitting a couple buttons from there. Last Screencastify update, and it is also related to AI. If you didn't know that you can take any video that you have within this platform and turn it into a quiz. And so in this assess area here, there's a button, because I already started the quiz part here. I can hit edit quiz. And here's what's really cool is that there is an AI assistant for quiz questions as well. And so you can have a video up here. You can use this AI to automatically generate a title and description. You can then turn it into a quiz and click the AI assistant button. And what it's going to do is it's going to automatically look at your content, look at those captions, and give you suggested multiple choice or quiz questions for the video content. You can review the questions here and then say, yes, I want to add that to the actual video here. Go through it as you see fit. Naturally, after you add one, you can come in here and make any modifications to it as well. And here's what's cool too, is that I can go a step further into our settings and I can prevent skipping. So let's say I have a review, at the end of the day, it's maybe 3 minutes long. I just recorded a quick content review for my students. I come in here, I recorded it, I turn on the AI, turn on the captions, and then I have it generate some quick quiz questions for me. The students then share it with them in Google Classroom. They can't skip the video, and they're going to be forced to answer some questions about the content. And all I had to do was record some quick content as if I was conversing with them in person, and then let the AI magic do the rest. So super interesting stuff. I definitely encourage you to play around with it, see how valuable it can be to use this as part of the platform. And like I said, it's very straightforward. All you have to do is visit the app, visit one of your videos, and use those buttons on the side for AI and for captions. Awesome. The last bit of info that I want to share with us is just a quick thing related to Google Classroom. They added the ability to create student groups now. So instead of being able to share things either to your entire class or having to pick and choose individual students, you can actually create a student group and then give assignments or give feedback in form of announcements to a whole student group as well. So great feature that we've been waiting for a little while. All right, cool. So I know this was a lot this month, but hopefully it's all helpful. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to submit a support ticket to ask or book a training appointment. We can discuss further as well. And I hope you stay safe and healthy these days. We'll catch you soon.